Hello and welcome to my spouse picking guide for patch 1.7.0. So in this video I'll try to offer some insight into how I would go about picking spouses for my playthroughs, and we'll also discuss some of the things that you can do to decide which ones you should pick. But first I want to quickly demonstrate why marriage is kind of busted mechanic in case you haven't seen this before. So we pick Sandbox and Botania. We'll play as a woman because we want to marry a man. At our starting city of Marnoth, we will sell our starting throwing weapons, then buy all the hogs and slaughter them for some extra cash. We will use this money to buy our husband, so we immediately head to Seonon. And on our way there, we will meet Louis-chan. He always spawns at Seonon. We will immediately ask for marriage, and he will let us marry Fierad for 4,000, which we will happily pay. Then we check where Fierad is, and he's located at Penkanok, so we go there. We take him into our party and immediately start selling his gear, which is very valuable. And after we have sold everything, we have almost 90,000 dinars, and it is only the third day of the campaign. So as you can see, marriage can give us incredible boost in the early game, but how can we milk everything we can out of it? Of course, this channel is all about optimizing things, so we will try to optimize marriage as much as possible. And to optimize marriage, we of course need data, and that is why I have created this mod. So here we can see I've added some new stats to this hero encyclopedia page. So I've added the hero level, how much money you can get when you sell this hero's equipment, and then how much you have to pay when you're trying to marry them. So this persuasion dowry is how much you have to pay when you do the persuasion quest, and the second number is how much you have to pay if you don't do the quest and instead just walk to the clan leader and ask to marry them directly. I've also added their equipment, so we can see if they have some interesting items that you might want to take for yourself. For example, interesting weapons like Northlander decorated 200 axe, or armor, or horses, or whatever you want to take. You can of course marry for good skills, but also how much money you can get off of them is very important if you're trying to min-max things, and level will give us insight into how adaptable the heroes are. Also, heroes with high levels will fight better in auto-resolves, so having a spouse with high level will make them fight better. And of course also high level heroes will always have high combat skills. So with these things in mind, I came up with these 6 categories, and I will present you with my picks in each of these categories. Each of these will show my picks with different things to optimize for, depending on what your playstyle is and what your preferences are. And we will start with the candidates with low Barter dowry price. So the first category is Barter price under 5,000 dinars. And in patch 1.7.0, the only eligible woman in this category is Adalindis, with Barter dowry of negative 850 dinars, meaning that they will pay you if you want to marry her. And I should explain a bit what this number is about. So the Barter price is mostly random, but it is constant for any hero in a given batch. So any content patch might change these numbers around. So for example, Adalindis could have cost anything up to 60,000 in the previous patch, but due to RNG, in this patch her dowry is one of the lowest, and actually negative, making her extremely affordable choice. Naturally, the final price you have to pay is not completely random, but you can influence it with various actions, such as improving relations or increasing your clan tier. But these are the prices as they are in the beginning of the game, at 0 relations. So, looking at Adalindis' stats here, you can see that her equipment sale value is 85,000. So after paying the dowry, or I should say receiving the dowry, you make a net profit of pretty much 86,000. She doesn't have anything very interesting skill-wise, she's fairly low level, no interesting items. My pick for a husband in this category is Galden. He's level 24, which is rather high level. He has Noble Bow, which is an interesting item that you might want to take, and he has high combat skills, of course, because of his high level. The skills are nothing too crazy though, pretty low steward, average tactics. He's just combat machine. His equipment is worth almost 140,000 though, so if you're looking to make a quick profit at the very beginning of the game, Galden is a very good option, because of course you can always pay this dowry of 3,000 and then you just made 140,000 in profit. So Galden is already a very solid pick. Another really good option is Kaban. He's very similar to Galden, and he has a heavy executioner axe, which is in my opinion one of the best items you can have. My honorable mentions for this category are Aesos, who again has negative barter dowry. You will get bit less combat skills, bit less skills overall, but the gear is still worth over 100,000. Bagarios, who has less gear but better skills. He has better steward and high tactics, so he would make a decent party leader. He's worse at fighting though. And the last honorable mention for this category is Peric, and this one is if you want to take a Vaush, which I think is one of the better weapons you can get from marriages. Otherwise, he is kind of middle of the road in terms of gear and skills. But this under 5,000 category is already very good for min-maxers. The next category I have is under 25,000 in party dowry. And this is a lot less restricting, so you should expect to see better skills and better equipment, although the difference is not that huge. And in this category we see some picks with high steward skill already. Galuk here has steward of 160, which is one of the highest in the game, and together with 100 tactics, he will make a very good party leader. You also get Northlander decorated two-handed axe, which is one of the better items that I think. It is one of the two-handers that is long enough to be effectively used from horseback, and you pay just 15,000 and the total equipment value is over 130,000. He's not super high level and he's kind of old, but he's on this list for his high steward skill. Another high steward skill pick is Sora. She has decent gear, but the rest of her skills are not that impressive, and also she lacks tactic skill, so she's not as good as party leader as some of the other picks, but the high steward skill is still very useful. And also Liena, who has 20 steward points less, but has great tactics and a Vaush. Her parter cost is only 12,000, so that is still very affordable even in the very beginning. If you'd like to have both your melee weapon and your range weapon from same marriage, Boronchar is a good option because he has both noble bow and a long clave, which are both of course great from horseback, although personally I think long clave is perhaps too slow, but it's still okay. He's also on the cheaper side, costing only 6,600, but he doesn't have very useful skills. If you'd prefer the Patonion equipment, we have Taurse, who also has both bow and Rompalia, but this time the bow is a long bow, so harder to use on horseback without the perks. Her dowry will set you back 12,000, and very similarly, we have Patrin, who is in the same age range. He's more of a combat-oriented character, so he has his combat skills. He's still pretty young and low level, but he's a pick for under 20,000 that can give you both of your weapons, if you prefer the Patonian ones. Overall, this category has a lot to choose from, so it's hard to pick favorites, but my picks from the ladies would be Meckenhelda. She has decent steward and good equipment value for a low dowry, or Liena for better skills but less money. From men, I'd go with Galuk, who would make an excellent party leader with very high steward skill and good tactics, and also he has a good axe that I could use personally. Or alternatively, I would go with Fjerad, who is a bit younger and has a couple more levels and overall better combat skills. His gear is a bit less valuable though, and he doesn't have a good melee weapon. So the next category are low level characters, and these will be your picks if you prefer to build your spouse's skills yourself. So having your spouse be low level will give you more freedom in picking their focus points and attribute points. So starting with the male characters, the lowest level males available are level 14, and they are Arthamund, who is otherwise pretty unremarkable, and Mimir, who at least has better gear with noble bow. Looking at women, the lowest levels you can find are 8, and level 8 women are Nereida and Inkulda. Out of these I would pick Nereida just because of her more valuable gear. If you don't mind a few levels more, and also doing the persuasion quest, Anruta might be a good pick for you, but the overall most valuable gear in this category belongs to Saverena at level 9, and at the age of 18 her gear is worth 130,000. With the parter dowry of 45,000 you might also want to consider doing the persuasion quest, or knocking down the parter price by improving your relations with her clan. So the next category is the opposite of this, so high level characters. There are not many picks for women above level 20, but the standout has to be Swana, and she has one of the most valuable gears in total at 150,000, great skills, and she also has both noble bow and a good axe for you. And the other high level women are Nadea at level 21, Ira also level 21, Corain level 23, also with noble bow and Rompalia, but otherwise pretty low value gear, Arva at level 23, Liena, who we saw earlier in the low Barter price section, Siga at level 25, Abagai level 21, Sylvind level 22, and Faya at level 20. For males, there are a lot more high level male characters, but the very highest level in the game is Fenagan at level 26. Of course, he has great fighting stats and also decent steward and tactics, and he is still only aged 24. The overall best pick in this category in my books is Simir, who only at the age of 18 already has 160 in steward and also has noble bow and good axe for you. His gear value is also amazing 150,000. I should also mention Seramus, who was the go-to pick in speedruns in patch 1.6.5. Unfortunately, the RNG gave him a lot higher Barter dowry in this patch, but he's still okay with high steward and high tactics and also high leadership, which will make him great party leader. Now I'd like to quickly show you how do I find all my favorites. Even with this mod that I made, it is a bit tedious to go through the in-game wiki to find all this information. So to do this a lot quicker, I created this spreadsheet which has all this information and more. So for example, I can limit my search to only Kusite culture nobles and then order the list based on their Barter price, or for example how much profit I will make after selling their gear. There's also some more nerdy stuff, which is basically breakdowns, how their Barter prices are calculated, and you can also search for different equipment. So you can use this to search for specific items or whatever suits your fancy. So this is what really allows me to find all these picks without consuming too much time. The link to this data is in the description, and if you'd like to have an editable version of this data, just click File and make a copy. That way you will get a copy of the data and you can change the filters and do whatever you like. I hope to keep updating this list for future patches, and in the future you can find different gamer versions down here as the different sheets. And coming back to our lists, the next category is young characters, and first we'll gloss over the men, since for men the age doesn't matter as much anyway, but the best young man is again Simir. Another similar option to Simir but pretty much worse in every way is Chakhan, except if you like Longclave, then he might be a good pick. And then for women, the best fighter under 20 and the highest level character is Corraine, so she should at least in theory fight better than any other candidate under 20 years old. Otherwise most of the young women are low level characters, so we can still use Nereida or Saverena. If you value Steward, you could consider Atricha or Leontia or Alijin. And now the final, my overall top picks. Please remember that these are highly subjective and also they will change with the next content patch anyway. And by the way, everyone on this list appeared already before, so pardon if I repeat some of the reasoning, but let's go through the lists and start with men. My first overall top pick for men is Galuk. If you can get 15,000, you will get a great party leader with 160 steward and 100 tactics, and you also get Northlander 200 axe, and overall just great value. My second pick is Gaban. You can marry immediately at the beginning of the game, and you can get Heavy Executioner Axe, which in my opinion is slightly better than the Sturgia version, and he's also higher level than Galuk and younger. And my number one pick for men is Simir, who is just completely broken, with his only downside being the high Barter dowry, but otherwise he's just excellent all around. And my overall top picks for women, first, Meganhella. For cheap dowry you can get a great value in terms of her equipment, and she already has high steward and decent tactics, and she is also fairly low level, meaning that you can spend your focus points wherever you like them. My second pick is Liena, who is a bit more ready-made option, but she would make a great party leader with high steward, high tactics. And my number one pick for women is Swana. So this list is kind of dominated by Sturgia, but Swana is very similar to Simir. And with that, that's all I had for you today. I hope you liked my lists, and I hope you found some completely broken picks for yourself. If you really want to optimize things, make sure to check out the spreadsheet, link in the description. And thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.